Hey guys, how's it going? It is Masterminded Guns here, and today I get to be showing you guys one of the most difficult guns that I've ever had to build before, just because of its diversity from any of the other guns, as well as its angles, and a few other factors which I'll get to in a little bit. However, one cool thing about this is that it does make the gun that much more rewarding to finish and show you guys. So here it is, the Lego Razorback from Black Ops 3. So here we can see an actual Razorback, and just looking at Wildcat's cousin, I can definitely see why this gun is actually named a Razorback. I mean, it lives up to its name because it has those rigid edges and stuff like that, but besides that, this gun has some really cool features that are pretty realistic and some that are pretty impractical, so I'll definitely get to those. Now, one thing that's really cool about this gun is how centered the handle is, and what's cool about this is that basically that means that the recoil is going to be very minimum, and even the magazine is centralized with the gun, which will also mean that when it is fully loaded and heavy, that it will still balance the gun, just because it is now in the middle, so it's not going to lean into one direction, and it'll just equalize throughout the whole gun. Now, what I find very impractical about this gun is just that, the magazine's angle, and more so the bolt, and what it takes to get the bullet from the magazine to the chamber. Now, what's bad about this, you ask? Well, pretty much this means that jamming will be a much higher percentage since the system is much more complex. The more complex the system, the higher percentage chance you have for a jam, and this just does not work very well in combat, and it's just a very impractical system. Now, as far as my model, I would definitely say it's a lot easier to make a rotating bolt than I thought it would be, and it's pretty cool to have. However, I would still say that I prefer the old classic pull-back design that doesn't fail you. So here you can see the handguard for the gun, and it actually can come off and you can replace it with the grip attachment that I actually went ahead and built. And what's really cool about this is that pretty much, you know, on a regular handguard you have a tactical rail underneath so you can attach like a grip to it, and it's an add-on. However, on this gun, that's not the case. You actually replace the handguard, so you take it off and you replace it with the grip. That's a whole separate compartment, which is really cool, and it acts as both purposes. It feels a little bit better, as well as it kind of changes the look a little bit, and I was really glad I could build it, even though I almost ran out of pieces and couldn't finish it. Now, what I noticed about this gun is just how detailed it is. It really reminds me of the ICR, as in its good color contrast, the things that make it look really interesting, and overall it's a pretty unique looking gun. You don't see many guns nowadays that look like this at all. Now, of course, there's variables that make it look better and make it look similar to other modern day guns, but however, there are things that make it look completely different and kind of out of this world, which I really like about it. So here you can see this very intriguing button that I really want to press, but I can't because it's Lego, and you might be thinking that it is a magazine release. However, it is actually the bolt catch, and I know this because if you attach fast mags and reload the gun in-game, you will see that that is the button that is pressed to release the bolt catch. So that is truly what that button does. So here you can see the magazine for the Razorback, and you might be wondering why, for such a low caliber gun, I use such a thick magazine. Now, the reason for this is something called a double stack mag, and how this works is pretty much when you load the magazine, the bullets after a certain point will start to zigzag on each other. They will start to end up more side by side, and what this will allow you to do is make a higher capacity magazine via a thicker magazine instead of a longer one. And of course, a thicker magazine is actually preferred over a longer one, since the longer ones seem to get in the way of things. And of course, this is the concept and why I made a thicker magazine for the Razorback. Now, one thing I love about my model is how easy it is to install the magazine. It really doesn't take any effort at all, which I really prefer because I've always hated a sticky magazine, and when that happens I just get a little frustrated. So it's nice to have, and I thought I'd just point that out to you guys. Now, here on the top of the gun, we are now introduced to the full-length tactical rail and of course the iron sights. Now, the tactical rail is nothing new. I have used this concept before on previous weapons. However, of course, the iron sights are new. Now, this rear sight I really struggled in building because it is really hard to build a square piece like that that looks thin enough and doesn't look stupid. I was trying to use some window pieces, however they did not work out very well, and that of course was the final draft. Now, this front sight just pops off to allow optics to be able to be seen through without obstruction of view, as well as the rear sight just folds down. But overall, I'm really happy with how these iron sights turned out. So for final words on this gun, all I can say is that it was definitely a success. It was definitely a challenge though, but I'm glad I was able to take it and finish it. So I just want to thank you guys for watching. If you've made it to this point, be sure to leave a like down below if you enjoyed, as well as leave a comment down below telling me which gun I should build next. But until next time guys, I will see you later.